You had another interview in 2016 with, was it Dakota Johnson and her friend?
And Leslie Mann.
Yeah. Can you give us the same context on that interview? What happened?
So that was for a movie called How to Be Single. And I remember I was just about to walk into the room, and whoever the reporter was that was leaving was kind of like, "Ooh, that's a tough room. Like, good luck." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I sat down, and this movie's about like dating. So I sat down, and Dakota Johnson out of nowhere just goes, "Hey, are you single?" Or maybe it was Leslie Mann, but they basically said, "Are you single?" Because that's like the context of the movie is like, you know, how to be single and like figuring things out, like how like difficult the dating world is. And I just like I leaned into it and started just playing with it. And I was like, if we can create a moment here that's outside of just like the typical question answer, let's see what this can become. And they just started having fun with it. I was single at the time, and like they were like talking off camera to like I think it was like a makeup artist or someone. They're like, "Oh, he's single too. Where do you live?" I said, "I live in Miami." "Oh, that's too far away." And they were just having fun with it as the cameras were rolling. And then it turned into like, "Can you take off your shirt?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll like undo one button, but in my head I'm thinking, I don't want to sit here with no shirt on for the rest of this interview. Like that's weird. I also understand that like in 2016, it was a little bit different than now, like in the way that this would be perceived. But it was just fun. I was just thinking like how can we play with this back and forth and just see where this goes? And I think I should point out that I was a very consenting, willing participant in this. I thought it was one of the most fun back and forths I've ever had in an interview. I think I even said during the interview, "This is the best interview I've ever done." And like I unbuttoned one, and Leslie Mann's like, "Two more or we're not talking." I'm like, "All right, two more buttons. Okay." Kind of like covering it up a little bit. But the other clip that doesn't get any attention is a few months later, I ended up sitting down with Dakota Johnson for another film. And as soon as I walked in, she goes, "Aren't you the guy who me and Leslie Mann sexually harassed in an interview?" And I said, "No, it was so fun. Not at all. No, what are you talking about? That was fun." She goes, "I just want to say that on her behalf, like, I'm sorry." I'm like, "No apology needed. It was just a super fun moment. And like, I'm glad we all had a good time." But that was, I still can't believe that actually happened. Like, it doesn't feel like a real thing of like, everybody else on that press tour just went in, asked questions, got answers, and I got this silly, fun moment that they were talking about on the late night talk shows. Like on the late night talk shows, Leslie Mann was like, I can't remember who it was. One of the late night hosts was like, "You know that like you asked him to take his shirt off, and like the cameras are rolling." She's like, "I know, we were just like having fun." He was like a breath of fresh air, but it was certainly a fun moment that I'm sure will never happen again.
You had another interview with The Rock, who I know you're a big fan of. You had an interview where where he gave you the finger, and he actually did it two times, right?
Yeah,
As a joke.
yeah.
Can you talk about the first time we interviewed and like what happened, like the full context?
So Rock's my guy. Rock was like at the very top of my list of like people I wanted to interview, like the absolute bucket list of celebrity interviews. He was my number one. You know, it dates back to me being a huge wrestling fan. So I've been fortunate now to interview The Rock like 10 times. Not that I'm counting or anything. But for this one in particular, he was walking the red carpet for the premiere of Ballers, his show on HBO. And red carpets are just tough to begin with. You're never guaranteed you're going to talk to anybody. And it's all about timing because they're walking the red carpet to do these interviews, but they've also got to like get into the theater to like make sure that the screening airs on time. So like red carpets are a bit of a cluster and you're just trying to do whatever you can to make it work. On top of that, I'm live on TV. So like I'm live on this segment airing on the Fox station in Miami. And we've carved out this like 2-minute window where I'm going to speak during the show. And we don't know if The Rock's going to be there, if he's walking down the red carpet like before he comes to us, or I've already talked to him. We don't know the context of any of that stuff. I've got 2 minutes to talk, and I'm going to be on the red carpet. The Rock may or may not be there. It timed out perfectly that as they were throwing to me, The Rock was walking up. And I'm like, I can't believe the timing of this. Like, absolute perfect timing that the second they're talking to me, like, we'll send it live now to Chris Van Vliet, who's on the red carpet. He's joined by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He was standing right there. Like, the timing was absolutely perfect. So we started chatting. Actually, we started chatting during a commercial break. And I remember my producer in my ear is like, we've got 30 seconds till we come back. Whatever you do, just keep him talking so that when we come back on, you're live with The Rock. So I'm doing whatever I can to keep the conversation going. And then we finally do come back live. And that felt like the longest 30 seconds ever. And I remember my producer just yelling in my ear, like, you got to make this happen. Whatever you can. He needs to be talking to you when we're back live on TV. 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 10, 9, 8. And like, finally, I'm like, hey, Rock, we're live right now on Deco Drive. And he goes, we're live. And he grabs the mic. We're live. I can say anything I want. I'm like, well, you can't say anything you want. We are live on TV. But I'm trying to like extend the time. And I said, could we do a people's eyebrow to the camera? So we both turn to the camera, do a people's eyebrow. Little did I know that behind my head, as I'm doing this, he gives me the middle finger. And I didn't see this at all. So I turn around and I'm like, Rock, thank you. You are just the absolute best. Always so good to see you. Then I turn around and I like look at the camera and I'm like, there he is. One of the biggest stars on the planet, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, live on Deco Drive at the premiere of Ballers. I was on such a high. It was amazing. I couldn't believe this timed out. So like the live shot ends, we're packing up the camera gear and my phone rings and it's my producer. And I'm like, can you believe that? The Rock live on TV. And my producer goes, do you know what he just did? I said, yeah, we got him live on TV. No, he gave you the middle finger. I said, what? What do you mean? Yeah, he gave you the middle finger behind your head live on TV as a joke, but like, obviously you didn't see that. Yeah, we might be facing a fine from the FCC. We're going to have to edit that out. If this ever airs again, like, we've really got our work cut out for us here. I said, yeah, but we got The Rock live on TV, right? Yeah, but also all this other stuff. So like, it was so funny that like, I was still on this high that we talked to The Rock, but he'd given me the finger live on TV. I went back to the car. I uploaded that as quickly as I could to my YouTube channel. That clip ended up going viral like very quickly. And then I interviewed him maybe 6 months later for Moana. And it's funny. It's Moana. It's a Disney movie, right? Yeah. And I said, hey, last time I saw you, you gave me the middle finger on live TV. And he goes, oh, you know what that means, right? I said, what? He goes, big F you right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So he gives me the middle finger again during a press junket for a Disney movie. But the thing about The Rock is no matter who he's talking to, he's always going to create a fun moment. He's always going to create a fun, memorable moment. Like they always say, you shouldn't meet your heroes. If your hero is Dwayne The Rock Johnson, do whatever you can to meet your hero because he's everything you want him to be. He's kind, he's funny, he's very present, he's very in the moment, but he's also really willing to share that spotlight with you. Like he's willing to, like he realizes that he's one of the biggest stars on the planet. He's willing to share a little bit of that spotlight with you. Like at the start of that interview on the red carpet, he was like, hey, look at the nice pocket square you got. And I was like, wow, like Rock's giving me like a compliment on my fashion. Like he doesn't need to do that. How kind is he? But yeah, he's one of a kind. And I don't know how many people he's given the middle finger to during interviews, but I'm certainly one of them.
Didn't you introduce